there, and welcome to this webinar all about using breathing as a mental health tool. How do we anchor ourselves and use our breath as a way to come back into the moment and really just regulate the constant, ongoing, non-stop stresses of today and the world that we live in and the lives that we lead. So thank you so much for making the time. My name is Zanele Njapha, the Unlearning Lady, CEO and founder at the Unlearners, but today in my capacity as board chair at the Unlearning Children Foundation, where our priority is really just youth mental health, helping our youth to think about how they can regulate their mental health, build emotional awareness and emotional intelligence so that they don't have to turn to taking their own lives when things get tough. So thank you so much for making the time, registering to be part of this conversation today. It is an honor and a pleasure to have you here to learn, change, and grow. So I want to jump straight into this because our guest today for this webinar is someone I have been wanting to speak to for the longest time live, but to learn from every single time I hear him speak on his stage, every single time I scroll through my LinkedIn and I see his content, I get so excited because regardless of what we may believe, am one of those people who I don't know if I know how to breathe properly, Tim, if I'm being honest, between just you and I,
yep,
because no one
else
is here. Just between you and I. So let me just introduce you unlearners to our guest today, and then we're going to start the conversation. Please feel free to go over to the chat function. You'll see there is a chat, but also a Q&A section for our questions. As we go on with the webinar, we will take questions right at the end. So feel free to start populating that part of your platform with questions that you have for Tim, probings, anything that you'd like for him to speak to, maybe even specific examples of what you've experienced and tips that he can share with you. Final thing is please feel free to connect with Tim after the webinar. He is going to share right at the end how you can explore some of his great work with him, and he does do some really exciting coaching as well. So if you're an individual and today has been one of those experiences, please make sure to take advantage of that opportunity. All right, Tim, breathwork alchemist. That for me is, wow, that's a word. Okay, tell me a little bit about what it means to be a breathwork alchemist. Tim Wagner.
Zanele, thank you so much. Absolutely privileged to be here. And yes, it is about time. So why not? To everybody who's here live, wonderful to have you. And as Zanele says, you got any specific questions, pop it in the chat. We're definitely going to have time for that. So what is breathwork alchemy? An alchemist is somebody who creates a state of emotional change. It's something that you create within from something that exists already. And breathwork is the tool that I use to help people create an emotional change of state in themselves. Be it that you're stressed and anxious and you just want to calm yourself and calm your nervous system. And we're actually going to play around with it a little bit today as well, if that's all right. Yay! And there's even ways that you can lift yourself in that moment when you're feeling lethargic and down, and you've got a project to do, you've got something that you've got to really focus on, but your brain is over there and you need to get it back over here. And yes, there's even ways using breathwork that can help you sleep. Who would have thought? So that's what breathwork alchemy is. That's why I say I'm a breathwork alchemist and also a professional pointer.
Yes. So tell me a little bit about that one, Tim.
So in my bigger business, I use breathwork as the catalyst to help people create a state of change in themselves. But my business is professional pointer coaching, where I point professionals in a new direction to help them find purpose and meaning in life, but outside of a stress-filled state. So if I was to ask you, Zanele, if you're stressed and anxious and you got to present and you're doing a big thing and there's a big audience and you've got to get that program and you're in your head and you're feeling all anxious, you can't think. Is that right? You find it difficult. You've got this fear as speakers that you're going to stand on stage and you've even forgotten your name. It happens. Let alone trying to remember the first line of the talk to catch everybody's attention. Because in that moment of stress and anxiety, you don't have oxygen to the prefrontal cortex, to your brain. Our bodies are designed in that way because in the stress, fear, fight, flight state, your body's not designed to think. It's designed to react, fight, or flee. Now, you want to do neither of those if you're going to talk on stage or if you want to get your project done. So before I can help a client in discovering their path and breaking through some barriers, some mental barriers, some shifts, you've got to break outside of that stress and anxiety state. And here's the key thing. It can be done in literally 60 seconds. It doesn't have to be a dramatic thing. That's the power of utilizing and knowing what is called how to be a conscious, connected breather.
Ooh, conscious, connected breather. Conscious, connected breather. I want to invite all of the individuals joining us live during this session to go over into the chat and put those words in there, because this is what we're going to learn today, how to be a conscious, connected breather. Go over into the chat and give me the words conscious, connected breather. Make sure that the little arrow in the chat is pointing to everyone so that your message goes out to everyone. Conscious, connected breather, because that's who we're going to be. So Tim, I want to almost take a good few steps back here. Sure. And start by talking about what the challenge is. You do some great work with organizations, but also with coaching groups and coaching individuals. So you've seen a lot of trends around why we even need to do this in the first place. So maybe can you start me off there? What are some of the trends that you are noticing with the professionals, the teams, the organizations that you are working with, so that we know, so if anyone is sitting here going, no, I don't need this, they know whether they're in the right room or not. What's the challenge?
All right. So, in fact, I'm going to turn it to the people in the audiences that type in conscious, connected breather. Thank you, Sylvester and Barbara. Who here has ever experienced signs, symptoms, feelings, emotions of burnout? Burnout is an epidemic. It's a worldwide problem. Right? So if you've experienced burnout, any of those symptoms where you're not getting sleep, you're not able to focus, you aren't able to connect with people around you, you're feeling disassociated from life, you're turning up, you're doing the work, but it's not fulfilling you anymore. Thank you, Jack, for your honesty over there. 73% of people in work have or are feeling states of burnout at some point in their career. And I personally believe it's actually more than that, because a lot of people, like me, when I was in corporate, we don't really know what burnout is. So it literally starts with acknowledging the fact that something is wrong. We're not feeling like we used to feel. You're not able to live your life with joy and fulfillment and happiness. So around the world, we have a look at the statistics, which are out, which show 73% of people working in corporates, not only corporates, but own business as well, feel some type of symptom of burnout at some point, which means you're disconnected, dysfunctioning, you're not operating at your highest flourishing level. Then you have a look at further statistics, and Discovery put out statistics last year, which was very scary, which showed a 60% increase in unnatural death of people 50 plus from the last 5 years. A 60% increase in unnatural death, which means suicide. Why? Depression, anxiety, burnout, not able to handle the pressures of the world. It's skyrocketed. So around the world, just have a look at the statistics of people who are struggling in handling what should be normal life. And you ask, but why? And that was my journey. I walked out of corporate in 2018. 27 years in hospitality. For some reason, I could no longer handle the pressure. I couldn't handle the stress. My relationship at home with my wife was in tatters. My relationship with my teenage son was destroyed. The business I was running was just not functioning because I couldn't see the solutions to the problems anymore. Does anybody relate to that? Most people at some point do. That led me to the journey. After I walked out, I went to discover, but why? Who am I? Why am I here? How come this external world pressures I could no longer handle? Has the world changed? That's to 2018, so this was pre-COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Or had I changed? And at some point, our bodies are just not able to handle that consistent pressure we're under all the time. Added by these guys, which we live on, technology, 5G technology, our diets, the consistent need to perform and produce on an ongoing basis, so we're not allowing our bodies to rest and reset. So it's building up all the time, and at some point your body, your nervous system is going to say, check out. I can't do this anymore. And that leads to a massive increase around the world in people not able to handle what before they could. That's the sad story of the time, which gives me clients. So,
which helps.
The good side to people burning out that I'm here, but you got to look at it that way. Thanks, Sylvester, for putting your comments in. Again, you can relate to that disconnection.
Yeah. So, Tim, maybe let's start getting a little bit practical. Then we'll come back because I want to almost shift between here and there, just so that our unlearners can engage, but also can understand this. Because one of the things you do so well, and every single time that I've been a part of an audience where you have lit up the stage, I just, it's quite something. So maybe let's start with helping those of us that are watching live, but also those of us that are going to watch the recording. As we're sitting in our seats, maybe we're in the car, whatever we're doing, how do we know that right now we're breathing okay or we're not? Is there a little test that we can do as we're sitting right now to see?
Oh, no. So in fact, we're going to do it as two parts. We're going to do the first one, which is a breath test to see how many times you're breathing in a minute. And everybody's going to do this. Then a little bit later, we're going to do a breathing technique which is going to reset and calm us. So it's a great one to use. I teach it to speakers before they go on stage, for people before doing a presentation. We're going to get a comparison. So the first one, what you're going to be doing. Now, this one, if you're driving, do it later. Focus on the road. But when you're at home, so I'm just getting my timer up here. Okay. Now, this breath test is a little bit subjective because as soon as you start to focus on your breathing, naturally you're going to change. So it's just going to give us a base benchmark of where you're at. And I'll tell you why afterwards. All right. So all you're going to be doing is sitting there. So if you're sitting just comfortably or lying in your bed, wherever you're listening to us, and for 1 minute, I want you to count your breaths. You're going to breathe as normal and relaxed as you can. However you breathe, you're just going to breathe. And I want you to count. So counting a breath would be an in and an out would count as one. And for 1 minute, we're going to sit in quiet. You're going to count your breaths. We good with that, Zanele?
Yes, let's do this. Go over into the chat and give me the word yes if you are ready, just so we know and Tim knows that we are ready to do this. We are primed. Wow. Okay, I've never done this before. This should be interesting, Tim.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to count you from 3 to 1. Just going to let your air out, and then you're going to just count your numbers of breaths in and out, counting as 1 for 1 minute. Okay. All right. Everybody on the call, you ready for that? Yes. Thank you very much. Yes. Barbara, yes. Okay. Stop counting. Yes. And now you're going to count your numbers of breath. And let your air out. 3, 2, 1. And breathe in. Normal pace. And stop. All right. Please put in the chats, how many times did you breathe? Zanele, how many breaths?
I think I completely manipulated it here, Tim, but I got 22.
Okay, 22. All righty. Put in the chats there how many breaths, and I'll explain what it means. You see, when we are stressed and anxious, imagine somebody having a panic attack, high anxiety. How are they breathing? Keep putting it in. Thank you very much. How do people breathe when you're stressed, when you're anxious, do you breathe in your nose or your mouth?
Oh, that's a good question.
Somebody's having a panic attack. Mouth, right. Are you breathing fast or slow?
Fast.
Fast. Do you breathe in through your chest or your belly?
Chest.
Chest. Yeah. Does your blood pressure go up or go down?
Up.
Does your heartbeat go faster or slower? Faster. And you're breathing through your mouth and not your nose. So these are signs of high stress and anxiety. When you're under constant pressure and high stress, and thank you for putting the numbers on the screen there. I'm going to talk about what that means now. When you're in a high state of stress and anxiety, that fear, fight, flight, it's called activation of the sympathetic nervous system. You're breathing in your chest, you're breathing in your mouth, you're breathing fast, your blood pressure goes up, you're not breathing through your diaphragm. And what ends up by happening is you go into this panic state. So when you're stressed, you change your breathing style. You go in your mouth, which aggravates your stress and anxiety. Here was the first thing that I learned. And if there's one thing that everybody takes away today, it's the following. When you're stressed or anxious, close your mouth, breathe through your nose. It automatically calms your nervous system and acts as a tranquilizer. So I tell my audiences and my clients, shut your mouth. But I do it because I love them and I care for their well-being. But that's the first thing. You see, mouth breathing is done when you're stressed and anxious. Shut your mouth, breathe through your nose. You naturally start to breathe through your belly and it'll calm. But I'll come back to that. What do those numbers mean? Now, and please, if you're Sylvester there, thank you for that. It felt so long. Yes, Barbara, thank you for the numbers there. Now, what does it mean? But please don't panic. Reach out to me, but I'll share something with you that's going to help you. If you are breathing between around 10 to 12 breaths a minute, that's a very fit person. Personally, I'm normally around 11, 12. Right now, I'm higher because I'm speaking, I'm active, I'm thinking, I'm doing a lot of things. So today, now, I was at 14, which should be normal for me at the moment. But when I'm resting, I'm between normally 10, 11, maybe 12, mostly around there. That's an ideal. If you're breathing between 12 to 16 breaths a minute, that's also okay. Below 12, very fit. Above 16, one of two things. Either you have a medical issue, perhaps you're asthmatic, or you're sick, you've got a lung illness, perhaps, something like that, or you're in a high stressed state. This is a very good signal to indicate, unless it's a medical issue, that you are highly stressed and anxious. You're breathing way too fast, and you're likely, for those over here with the 20 plus, you're likely, more often than not, a mouth breather. So here's the first thing about becoming a conscious, connected breather. Consciously aware, am I breathing through my mouth or my nose? And I'll share with you a tip of how you can become consciously aware of that a little bit later on. But that's the first thing, is to understand that when we're breathing fast, it's very unhealthy. So here's a common misconception. When you breathe through your mouth, you're taking in more air than breathing through your nose. Yes? Yes. It's deeper. You're taking in more air, right? Mm-hmm. So if you breathe through your nose, it feels like you got less air. So you think when you're exercising or running, and I tested this for myself, I'll share my story with you. When you're exercising or running, you feel that you need to breathe through your mouth. Why? More air.
To get more air, yeah.
Now, here's a question. Do you need more air or more oxygen? You want more oxygen. Breathing through your mouth is less oxygen in your bloodstream. When you breathe through your nose, less air, greater intake of oxygen. Hence why, if you're breathing in a panic attack, fast in and out your mouth, and you're having a panic attack, people faint. It's not too much oxygen. It's a lack of oxygen to the brain. Shut your mouth, breathe through your nose. You're breathing into the lower part of your lungs. There's a greater intake. There's many other benefits. There's an increase in nasal nitric oxide, and there's a whole lot of things which are important, which we won't go into now. So it just automatically calms. It increases the amount of oxygen in your bloodstream. It increases what's called vasodilation. So your blood vessels open up. Better flow of oxygenated blood to your vital organs and your muscles. So it calms you, and it increases the blood flow to your brain. So the more you breathe, especially in the mouth, the less oxygen, the less healthy, the more stressed and anxiety and anxious you're going to become.
Wow.
So what's the first rule?
Close the room. This is so good already.
And this was,
think, everyone.
Yeah. So put in the chat there. What is the first rule if you're stressed and anxious that you need to do? Who remembers? Go on. Put it in the chat. What's the first rule? What's the first thing that you do? If you're feeling stressed, you're highly anxious, you're not able to focus, you've got this deadline, you're about to walk onto stage, you've got to do a presentation, there's something just not going wrong, you're feeling all absolutely irritable and irritated, you're about to argue, have an argument with your spouse, and what do? First rule of being a conscious, connected breather. Put in the chats. Somebody's got it right.
Yeah. What's that first rule?
Go on, somebody's got it right. Come on, Zanele, what is it?
Close your mouth.
Close your mouth and breathe through your nose. Barbara's the winner. High five.
Yay.
Yes. Here's another reason why this works, and this will identify for you. Zanele, have you ever had an argument with somebody and they're just not thinking rationally? You get more, I told you, right? And it's just irritating. When you're anxious, when you're stressed, when you're arguing, you're getting all frustrated, your body's been designed to remove the oxygen from your prefrontal cortex, which is your cognitive thinking brain. So you're not able to think rationally when you're anxious and stressed or angry. Physically, it's not possible. You need to calm, walk away, come back. How often, after an argument, do you think, why did I say that? Where did that come from? Because you're not thinking consciously in that moment. We're just not designed that way. You have to calm first.
Very nice. Thank you, Tim. Wow. What a great way to start us off. And I can't wait to see the questions that then come through from everyone who's joining and is engaging with this and interacting and also learning from you. I think one of the things I'm appreciating is as you walk us through everything, you're sharing some of the great insights, the data, the why it works, but also why it's helpful. And I think even as I was sitting listening to you, I'm like, okay, Zanele, focus, close your mouth, just. So now, Tim, here's my question. Because yes, there are the moments when we are under stress or where, we were taking the 10 seconds to breathe. But then there are moments when we are talking in conversation. And I notice this happens to me when I'm sitting in a networking event. And please let me know in the chat if you can relate to this. You're at a networking event and then someone says, hey, why don't we go around the room and have everyone introduce themselves? That's the moment where I'm going, no. And then even though the entire time I'm trying to breathe, by the time I get up and I have to speak, and yes, even though I speak for a living, Tim, my voice won't come out. It's talk to me about breathing when we talk.
All right. So there's one beautiful go-to breathing technique that I love to share with all my clients. And the reason why I love this one specifically is you can do it at any time and no one around you will know what you're doing. So let's say you take your example. You're at this networking event and they're going around the room and it's that person and then it's going to that person and then it's going to you. And then you stand up. What's my name again? You got a name badge. Right. Okay. So what do you do beforehand? Well, the key thing is to calm your breathing by breathing less in and out your nose. Less. So let's do this exercise right now. Okay. It's another 1 minute exercise. And this is a technique. And when you're going to do it, because I want you to feel it. And it's, remember what I spoke about at Breathwork Alchemy is about feeling that emotional change of state in everybody. Right? So I want you to feel this, because when you feel it, you're going to remember it. And please take this away with you and share it. Do this. Use these techniques. That's how you reduce those breathings, the 1920s, 22s down. So here's what we're doing. All you're going to do, and again, please, don't do this one while you're driving for this time. Let's get my timer up here again. Sitting comfortably, your arms in your lap or on the desk in front of you. If you're leaning against something, lean back. All I want you to do is close your eyes and follow my count on breathing. So you're going to breathe into the count of 5 through your nose and out through the count of 5 through pursed lips. We're going to be doing that for 1 minute. So I'm going to count for you. You're going to breathe in, you're going to breathe out. And then after 30 seconds, I'm going to stop counting. I want you to count in your head. I want you to visualize that number and count in your head. Very simple. So we started off by counting you in 3, 2, 1. You let your air out. You close your eyes and you just follow me in. Breathe in through your nose and out through pursed lips. Okay. I'll take it everybody's ready. You're sitting comfortably, nice and peaceful. And let your air out. And 3, 2, 1. Breathe in through your nose. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out through your mouth. 2, 3, 4, 5. In through your nose. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out through your mouth. 2, 3, 4, 5. And in 2, 3, 4, 5. Out 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep breathing, counting. And out. Visualize the number. And in. And out. And in. And out. Now just sit there peacefully for a moment, keeping your eyes closed. Feel the calm in your body and maybe even your heart beating in your chest. Breathing at your own pace. When you're ready, open your eyes. How are you feeling? Put in the chat. How are you feeling? Calmer? More at peace? Are you feeling more centered? Are you feeling more here, more present? Your mind's not racing over there anymore, so you've brought it in. This is called resonant breathing. So you're calming your mind and your heart. You're resonating. Zanele, relax. Thank you. Keep putting in the chat. It's calmer. Do you feel breath hungry? Do you feel that you need to, no oxygen, need to breathe,
No,
You
not
feel
right
calm?
now.
All right. Now, you were breathing. How many times did you say you're breathing? 22 breaths a minute.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You've just gone down to 6. 6 from 22. The ideal breathing state of a healthy person is 6 breaths a minute. That's all you need. It's all you need. And you've just shown it. Everybody there, look at those chats, look at the comments. Calmer, peaceful, calmer, relaxed. In your nose. Breathing normally in and out your nose. This one we're breathing pursed lips, nice and slow out your mouth. Resonant breathing. And that is 60 seconds. So you can sit there in that meeting, that network event, or in that boardroom, and you've got to do a presentation. And while everybody else is chit-chatting going on, you can sit there and you can go, nobody around you knows. Then your turn comes, hi, my name's Zanele, I'm the unlearning lady, and blah, 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 blah. And it'll just flow beautifully. Why? Because you're oxygenated, you're thinking, you're calm. Now, there's a couple of things I asked you to do there. Mm-hmm. Count and visualize, right? Now, here's a key thing, and I've noticed that for a lot of breathing practitioners or on YouTube and you follow breathing, that they don't actually talk about this. Now, here's why it's so important. When you're thinking about the number and you're visualizing it, where is your mind? Focused on that number. Before that, your brain was going, and talking there, and you got this monkey and that idea and this story and that story and this line, you can't do it, and you don't know your name, what are you going to say, do I say this, don't I? And right, it's like chaos. Mm-hmm. So our minds, our brain can only focus on that one thing, the number. So all the problems that you were thinking about, the world's issues, it's gone. So whenever you're doing a breathing technique, count and visualize the number. And you'll find your mind will calm. Powerful. So simple. Here's a wonderful quote for you. This was written by a guy called Yogi Ramacharaka. He wrote this book in 1901 called The Yogic Style of Breathing. And in the end, he says the following. Your nose was not made for eating. Your mouth is not made for breathing. Ooh. Your mouth is actually the backup source for breathing, not the main source. There you go.
Incredible. Wow. You know what the funny thing is, Tim? As we've started the webinar already and having the conversation, I've been hearing my yogi's voice because I do yoga top and tail. It's beginning of the week and end of the week. And every now and again, when you get into an asana that's a bit challenging, every now and again she'll come by, and because she usually will just walk around the room and just help each of us. And then every time she's around me, she's like, breathe through your nose. And I'm like, oh, yes. Yeah. Breathe through your nose. And so I hear her voice constantly. And now when she comes around, I know. But I never understood why. And today, as you were sharing, literally dawned on me that that's exactly why. Because your best self comes through, as you say, that conscious connected breathing. You can only harness that capacity, that true capacity, when you breathe correctly. And so when we speak, Tim, and we'll come back to maybe a few more questions here, because I'd love to get into some of the nitty-gritties as well, as our unlearners go ahead and they start practicing and thinking about their different scenarios. When we are having a conversation, do you suggest, and I've heard it said in many different ways, that you breathe right at the beginning and then you string a sentence together with that same breath, or breathing in between words, what is the best way to do it so that you're not as you're talking the entire time?
Yes. Well, as professional speakers, and if you are a professional speaker as you are, it is like being an athlete. Professional speakers are athletes. And an athlete needs to prepare their best tool, their muscles, if they're runners, their legs, you're going out. So you're going to practice as well your lungs. If you're a professional speaker, you need to make sure your lungs are healthy, your lungs are full. So there's various breathing techniques that you do as a professional speaker before stage. But if you're just in general conversation, when you're speaking, the sound comes out on the out breath. Right?
Yes.
If you find that now you've got so much to say that you keep talking and you're running out of breath, that you keep going and suddenly you're just going, and in the middle of a sentence, you suddenly, the first thing I'd say is stop speaking so much. Just slow down. Because the people that are listening to you aren't going to be able to take in all the words. They've forgotten half of what you said. So the greatest thing you can do in conversation, and as a professional speaker, you'll know this in it, is pause. When you pause, people have the ability to internalize what you've just said without being sort of throwing up all over them. And it gives you a chance to take a breath and think about what you're going to say next. The power of the pause. So if you've got a lot to say, pause. It's also emphasis. And then you carry on going afterwards. People, there we go. So the first thing I'd always say to people is, if you're running out of breath, you're talking too much. God gave us one mouth, 2 ears. Use it in proportion. There we go.
Love it. Thank you so much, Tim. That was, really, really well answered. I think you make it make sense. And I think that's what becomes really important for the professionals that are joining us today. But everyone who's going to be listening to this afterwards is thinking, one, why do I need to be a conscious, connected breather? And then two, how do I do it? So a lot of that has come to light already. So I then want to go to us thinking about, and we're going to close off in the next 20 or so minutes, but I want us to help our unlearners to understand what the different consequences are when it comes to not being able to practice this tool. And right at the beginning, you gave us some fascinating data. Funny enough, we did mention it in the first webinar when Discovery released that data to say that this is a huge challenge for us as professionals, especially within those age groups. And so I wanted to understand what some of the case studies or experiences that you've seen from clients when it comes to actually not being able to practice this tool and to put it in place. What are the, what's the danger that we could face if we don't take back our breathing, so to speak?
Seriously. Okay. Well, the first danger we've already spoken about, which is burnout. Now, there's a bit of a misconception around burnout. People think that burnout is when you can't handle, you're still turning up, you're doing the work, but you're not connected. No, burnout is you're done, you're finished, you're lying in bed, call 911. Too late. Okay. What's the consequences of just continuing the way that you're going and accepting it as part of normal life? Stress is a part of business. Get on with it, suck it up, deal with it. And you ignore those responses, you ignore the feelings in your body, because all that a feeling is a warning sign to you. Your blood pressure's up, your digestion system is in the tank. You're on blood pressure pills, you've got heart problems, you've got aches, you've got osteoarthritis. All of these things are warning signs that your body's saying, hey, you need to look after you. Because if you don't, the consequences. So about 2 decades ago in America, they did a study of 150 fatal heart attack victims, people that passed away from their heart attack. They found that 80% of those heart attack victims were chronic mouth breathers. 80%. Meaning that they were living in a highly stressed, anxious state. Our bodies are not designed for that. When we were created, there was a lot of different threats. Lions, tigers, they were going to hunt us. So our bodies are designed in that moment of stress and panic, fear, fight, flight, activate sympathetic nervous system, run. When you're in the cave, lion's gone, homeostasis, calm. You relax. Modern society, the world that we're living in, doesn't allow our nervous system to calm. Even when we're sleeping, we're not getting a restful sleep. 8 hours a night. 8 hours of calm sleep. Not waking up because you're concerned about security, or the dogs are barking, or the kids are crying. Your body, your nervous system is not getting a chance to reset. What are the consequences? Lifestyle dis-eases. Dis-ease means dis, out, ease, balance. Your body goes out of balance, out of sync, and is not able to heal. We've got the most amazing machines that we walk around in, but we're not treating them with respect. And the consequences, I've just remembered a story. Got to come back. Remind me, Tim, tell me that story. Okay. The consequences. See, my brain goes, tell them this. I go, no.
Breathe.
The consequences are you're not going to be sleeping properly. You're not going to be taking your breaks at work. You're going to struggle to focus. Your stress and anxiety picks up. What seems as a normal solution, or finding a solution to a normal problem, you're not going to see any longer. Your relationships are going to break down at work, with your clients, with your loved ones. You're going to get angry more. You're going to get angry quicker, and you don't know why. It's just a reaction. You're not able to control this. Those are the consequences of not taking it seriously. And what caught me was so profound. When I first started to learn how to breathe, and yes, learn how to breathe. I was 51, Zanele, when I learned how to breathe. 51. I thought, I've got 51 years of experience. I know how to breathe. Wrong, I did not. Here's what I learned, is that it's so simple when we know how. And you've already seen that in yourselves with 60 seconds, how you can calm your entire nervous system. Now, I do also have a book, a free ebook that I'm happy to share with everybody, which can teach you multiple different breathing techniques. They're not mine. I've just compiled them and put them into a format that is what I use to teach and help people to really calm themselves and center so that you can handle the chaos. Because in the end, what are we in control of? The world around us, the government, the unemployment, the clients, the kids, the stresses, the constant need to be on go all the time. Can we control that? Or can we control how we react? Because all that stress and anxiety are merely emotional reactions to external stresses. If we can learn how to control our stress and anxiety, the external world, which we have no influence over, will still operate the same, but we'll be changing our own world. And a stressful situation will just be the situation. In the end, what are you in control of? You're control of your breath. And your breathing, conscious connected breathing, is merely a manipulation of your autonomic nervous system. It's the only way that we can manipulate, change, alter our entire nervous system. From your digestion to your weight loss. This is the story I'm going to share with you very quickly. To your weight loss, to helping you with your heart issues, your blood pressure issues, your brain issues, ADHD issues. It helps with so many things that are, a lot of them in these lifestyle diseases, which is, I think it's about 90% or 92% of hospitalizations is a result of stress and anxiety, because highly stress anxiety leads to disease, out of balance, your body. And how can you, right at the beginning, start resolving it? Watch how you breathe. So here's my story for you quickly. I did a talk a couple of months ago to a group of it was a beautiful audience, and it was all around health and well-being. I love it. It's something I'm really passionate about. I'm into regenerative health, natural healing abilities of our bodies, and how can we access this? And at the end of it, I happened to slip in and I asked the question, who here has ever tried to lose weight? Okay? Right. Specifically females. Pretty much, like I think everybody in the audience, yeah, of course, at some point I have. Right. So when you want to lose weight, where does that weight go? Where's it go? It's got to go somewhere. Where's it go?
Where?
Well, exactly. Where does it go? It's got to go. So people say, well, I lose weight when I exercise, so sweat. Okay. I pee it out, excrete it. Okay. It's actually not. 80% of weight loss is through your breath. So this one lady says, why didn't you tell me at the beginning? I would have listened closer.
Where have you been all my life?
Quite a big lady, I must admit. She says, I didn't know this. Yep. Wow. 80% of weight loss is through your breath, because we are carbon. We are made up, everything's made up of carbon. Everything, carbon. When you breathe out more carbon dioxide than when you breathe in. Where does that come from? It comes from your cells. So your body breaks down the fat particles, keeping it very simple, breaks down the fat particles, goes into your bloodstream, converts from your blood into your lungs into carbon dioxide, and you breathe it out. Interesting stuff. I wish they taught this at biology at school. Maybe I would have paid attention.
Like, how old were you when you learned that? That is, wow.
Yeah. Okay,
Tim. So here's what's next, and then we're going to close off with maybe one or two exercises, and then we've got a comment or two, one comment that's come through, and we'll take some questions. But here's what I want to ask. So now, as we leave this webinar, we're going to be thinking about our routines, because if it's not scheduled, if it doesn't integrate into our schedules, into our lives, into our programs and agendas, it does become hard to build it as a habit that we can practice on a consistent basis. So my question now is, where do we integrate the breathing? What do you recommend? Is this the best way possible? Maybe at the beginning of the day, is there a certain type of breathing you recommend right at the beginning of the day? And then do you recommend maybe stopping in the middle of the day? Or is there a specific type of breathing for the end of the day? Where in our days can we look to build the habit of conscious connected breathing?
Love that. And you said the right thing. Where do we build the habit of becoming a conscious connected breather? We're all running chaotic days. And a lot of people come to me and they want to do what I teach and what I share, what I specialize in, say, I've got no time. We don't want to add on something onto already a chaotic, busy schedule. So we've got to integrate and build it in. How do we do this? Well, let me ask you a question. Can you spare 1 minute 3 times a day in your schedule? 1 minute. 60 seconds. Of course you can.
I'm sure I can find a minute.
60 seconds. You can. Look, if you can't find 60 seconds, you've got bigger problems that you're letting on.
You need to go see Tim.
Right. Oh, we're going to find more time for you. Yeah, because there is a way. Well, take out your phone. Everybody here on the call, everybody listening, including Zanele, take out your phone. Go to your reminders. Go to your reminders right now. I want you to do this right now, because afterwards, you're not going to do it, because live, it's Friday evening, the kids are waiting for you, there's family, the dogs want feeding, whatever's going on, you're going to forget. Take out your phone. Set 3 reminders. 1 in the morning, pick a time, 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock, doesn't matter. 1 in the morning, 1 around lunchtime, and 1 in the evening. 3 reminders. And the reminder says, breathe. Why a reminder? Because it'll flash up there, breathe. The reminder will actually come up on your phone and say breathe. So put it in your phone right now. Breathe. Okay?
Morning. Put the morning one in.
One morning, one afternoon, one evening. So 3 times a day. Okay? 3 times a day. Why? To build a habit is built by doing constant repetition. And whether some studies say it's 21 days, 30 days, it doesn't matter. It's unique to you.
Consistency. Yeah.
Here's what I know, consistency. Here's what I know. If you do that breathing exercise that I shared with you just now, that resonant breathing, which you can do at any time, at any place, nobody has to know about it, for 60 seconds, and you do that 3 times a day for 2 weeks, you'll find that you start becoming far more aware of your breathing. It's just repetitive, but you will forget unless it's on the phone. So wherever you are, you're walking around the shop and your phone vibrates and you look and it goes, breathe. Keep walking, shut your mouth, because you'll probably find your mouth is open. Shut your mouth, and just while you're walking, in your head, you're counting to 5. You're counting to 5 for 1 minute. While you're driving, you're sitting in traffic, you're on the way home. You always know that you sit in traffic at 5:30, for example. Set your reminder 5:30. Turn No Hope FM off so you stop listening to the nonsense that they're feeding you on the news. Your phone goes vibrate and says breathe. While you're driving, you're sitting in traffic for 1 minute. Do that for 2 weeks. Watch what happens. Your entire nervous system starts just calming. So when you come to a stressful situation, you're going in calmer because your nervous system is calmer. So you're going to react less. And I've had so many clients who've come back to me. And after having the argument, now here's the thing. The stress is caused at home more so than at work. It's true. I hear that more often. The burnout starts at home and impacts work. It doesn't start at work and impact home more often than not. Is that I get clients who come to me and saying, I didn't realize that situation with my kids, for example, would normally make me so angry and frustrated, but I wasn't. It works. They're shocked. Well, breathing works. It works. Try it. I dare you.
Double dare.
There we go.
You double dare us to breathe.
Double dare you. Breathe. Go on. I had a client, actually. It was a small group. It was an audience. And this one guy puts his hand up at the beginning. He says, I don't believe this. I'll tell you what, shut your mouth, hold your nose for the entire talk, and then come tell me how you feel after. So I don't know, maybe he fainted. No, I think he kept quiet after.
But he got it.
I think he got the message. Yeah.
I like that. All right. So to be able to slow things down or the pace of life.
When you're in that moment, you're able to disconnect from the chaos around you and connect internally. So it's a disconnection from that and When you're more connected within, then you can connect to everything outside. Otherwise, you're just going to be permanently on that go and on that fight and on that flight. So it's about moment, and time slows down in that moment when you're focusing on your breathing. Nothing else matters because you're counting and you're visualizing and you're breathing. And what will end up by happening is that project that you were struggling with, that would have taken you a long time to resolve, because you breathed for 1 minute. You only get through it like this. So whenever I've got a client that says, I don't have time for this, and say, invest. I specialize in something called transformational breathwork journeys, which is about rooting out the initial negative reaction to external circumstances. Invest in an hour of breathing. You will, as an investment, get a return of the next day 5x. You're suddenly going to find that you can do things quicker, more effectively. You're going to procrastinate less. You'll find the answer to difficult solutions that you think, never thought of that before. Because your awareness is far more present and you're not as cluttered in your head with all that noise. Yeah.
It's transformational breathwork journeys. Tim, maybe let's close off with that then, and we'll see if we have any more questions that have come through. Let's talk about what you do. What are the different ways that our unlearners can work with you, whether they're in the room live and they'd like a contact? And then also, I do want to encourage Tim that if you have the capacity, maybe now as we work through questions, to please share the link to your book so that our unlearners can access it. If that link is somewhere on hand and they can just jump in, click right away and go over to the page and download it. But I also do want you to tell us, one, what are the different ways that clients work with you? And then two, how do we then get a hold of that? Do you have a website? Do you live on Instagram like I do? What are the platforms that people can go over depending on their preference and go, okay, Tim Wagner, right now, I need to work with him today. I need to refer him to someone. So there's different things that they might be thinking of as well. So over to you, Tim. How do we get more of this?
How do you get more of this? How do you breathe more? Okay, so you'll find me on YouTube and also on LinkedIn is where I am, Tim Wagner. I've put in the chats there my link that'll take you to a landing page to download the book. And on there, you'll also see where you can book a 30-minute call with me, complimentary. I can dig deep for you, specific. If you've got something specific you want, absolutely pleasure to do that. And you'll find that all on that link. So that's the easiest way to connect with me from there. So very briefly, please put questions in the chats. What is this transformational breathwork journey? Well, when I first started to learn how to breathe, as daft as it sounds, yes, that's what I was learning. I came across this guy who became my mentor by the name of Brian. And what he taught me was that breathing techniques is not only about, let's say, the Panado or the painkiller for the headache. You take the Panado because you've got a headache, but it doesn't resolve the cause of what the headache is. We pop a Panado, oh, my headache's gone. Yes, but why do you have a headache? Why are you reacting negatively to stressful circumstances? Why are you breathing? What is the underlying reason? So instead of treating the symptom, breathing techniques, when specialized, roots out the negative cause of it. So I went and studied this. It's called a transformational breathwork journey. It's also known as holotropic breathing. It's a 1 hour deep guided, very deep meditative breathing technique that goes into the subconscious mind, because that's where your limiting beliefs, your paradigms, your issues and your problems lie. So it does a couple of things. It calms your entire nervous system so that negative trauma, which is energy, we are energetic beings, we are energy. But when you have a traumatic experience, be it that it was from when you were 3 years old and you lost your mommy's hand in the shopping market and you thought, oh, I've been abandoned, and that trauma is held in our body. But we don't release this trauma. It's held there. So when you're doing a certain breathing technique, which is what I specialize in, it calms your conscious mind, puts it asleep, allows your subconscious to kick in and your body to release this naturally. No drugs, no chemicals. You're not talking about it. You're not talking about the drama and the trauma, because our body doesn't remember the trauma, it holds that trapped energy, won't let it go. Also within this, it helps change paradigms. I'm ugly, I'm fat, I can't do this, I'm incapable, I'm stupid. Those stories that we always tell ourselves, chat, which limits our capacity to function, lies in your subconscious mind. You need to let that go. And that's using NLP. So it's breathing, NLP, and music. NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, changing the paradigms of how you think. And you do that. Powerful. When you've got that book, there's an example of that in there. Go for it. Enjoy it. Get back to me. Let me know how you feel. It's remarkable.
Nice. I think that is going to be a real treat for everyone to explore. And we'll also share that as we share the recording with everyone as well, so that they can also still be able to access the book. Really, really great stuff. My question, Tim, as we close off, and I see we don't necessarily have any questions that have come through. I think everyone's just, oh my goodness, still in a state of perpetual happiness at the end of this webinar. So my question is around these transformational breathwork journeys and the work that you do. How do you approach the perception or the idea of altered states of consciousness? Because that's one of the things that, as far as breathing goes, I've heard and I've seen and noticed in certain circumstances can start to happen with individuals that are having that experience or that are having a breathing journey of some sort.
It is entirely possible. One of the big things around the deep breathing techniques that I specialize in, it's not so much about an altered state of consciousness. It can be a state of euphoria that you're feeling. But it's not anything where you're not in control of. A lot of people have the fear and they go, but hypnosis. I don't want to be hypnotized because then you're going to make me cluck like a chicken or do something. No, it's not possible. Unless you by nature would do that, your subconscious mind is not going to allow it. So the style of breathing that I do, you are fully in control at all times. So theta brainwave state, which is where you go in the style of breathing, is a very deep, like I have very deep sleep, but it's an awake sleep. And you actually go into theta twice a day, just as you're dozing off to sleep. And when you very first wake up, have you ever woken up and you sort of feel a little bit, I'm here, but I'm not here. You know where you are, but you're feeling that's theta. And then your brain slowly kicks in and then goes alpha and then beta, which is normal cognitive thinking that we are all doing now. So in this, you are fully aware. You're in complete control. You know exactly what's going on. It's just that you feel extremely calm. People can have what they deem as out-of-body experiences or very spiritual experiences if that is what your body and your subconscious will allow. But I can't do any of that for you. All I'm doing is helping you and your body by asking questions, because I don't tell you anything, asking you questions and helping you breathe, that your body and your subconscious does what it intuitively, instinctively knows to do, but we don't allow it to do because we're always on the go and stressed and anxious, thinking and fearful. So it's a complete calming of your nervous system. Yeah, nothing to be fearful about. How do you try? How do you know this? Try it. The worst thing that'll happen is you'll have a good night's sleep.
The worst thing that could happen is that.
Yeah. No chemicals, no drugs, no uppers which you crash afterwards, or shrooms which great, but then you crash. No, there's none of that, because this is breathing. This is your God-given breath. This is utilizing to the capacity what we've been given. Yeah. Love it.
Tim, parting shots, and then we're going to jump off.
Yeah. I run breathwork journeys. You're welcome to reach out for me. If you're feeling that you're breathing 20, 22, 25, 60, 59, I think it was the highest one, you are on that verge of burnouts, I've got various tools that I'm happy to share with you. And I run breathing sessions, 5-week programs, as well as full coaching programs. But here we're talking about breath to really help you get going. When you work with me, it's not only the breathing, but I am available for you as an accountability partner for all the time. Because here's what I've learned. Life happens outside of the time we spend together. So in order to help become consciously connected, it's building those habits and continuing it. But here's the one thing, and I'll repeat this over and over again. The one thing I'd like you all to take away: when you're stressed or anxious, shut your mouth, breathe through your nose. It's powerful.
Can you breathe us out, Tim, as we close off the webinar?
All right, let's breathe out. So it's Friday evening. We're not ready for bed. I've calmed you all down. Now let's awaken you. Let's get you going. Everybody, hold your right hand 10 centimeters in front of your nose. Thumb and forefinger, as if you're pinching a feather. Now, this is an activator. This one you can do when you're feeling down and calm, but you need to wake up. You've got to get busy. You've got to focus. Pretend you're holding a feather 10 centimeters in front of your mouth. What you're going to do is I'm going to count you in, and you're going to blow this feather, breathing in and out your mouth, short, sharp breaths. So you're breathing your belly. Belly must go in and out, in and out, in and out. You're going to do it like this. So you're pretending that feather's going. Right. So hold that. We're going to do this for 30 seconds, and you're going to tell me how you feel. And I'm going to count you in 3 to 1. You're going to let the feather go, and you're going to breathe short, sharp, and you're going to imagine that feather's going up, up, up. And 3, 2, 1. There your feather go. Blow. Make sure that your belly's going in and out. When you're breathing in, your belly's going out. Follow that feather. Imagine that feather's floating, floating, floating. I know somebody's blown away. You're going to have to get up and go and get it. But go, blow. Come on, Zanele. 10 seconds. Go. Now take a deep breath in. Lift your arms. Deep breath in. Lift your arms. Lift your arms. And a big sigh. You've just emptied that stale air in your lungs. You've reset your nervous system. You've awakened everything. Don't you feel that you're on a buzz now? Your mind out. All right. It's called feather breath. Wow. Great to get the kids going. If they're, Mom, I don't want to do anything. Well, let's go blow a feather around the garden. Wonderful for the kids. Get them all awakened and going. This one you do when you've got to get that project done. You just, oh man, I'm so tired, yawning, and it's late. Right, I've got to awaken myself. Stand up, blow feather for 30 seconds. Then sit down and focus. You'll get things done like this because you're awakened, you're busy, you're active. Don't do that too long because it's mouth breathing, which is activation of fear, fight, flight. This is to awaken and liven for a short period of time. Powerful. In 30 seconds, you've changed your entire physical, mental state.
Tim Wagner, incredible. Thank you so much for your time today. This has been incredible. Keep up the fantastic work. And I know that this is not the last time we're going to work together. We're going to partner. But thank you for making the time to share your wisdom, your insights, your incredible work with us. This has been a pleasure.
Zanele, thank you so much. It's been an honor and it's been wonderful chatting with you. And you keep doing the great work that you're doing as well. The Unlearning Foundation is doing phenomenal things. There's so much that can be done with breathing for kids. It's such an important tool to teach them from young. It can save so many complications later. Keep doing the great work you're doing as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tim. All right, everyone, this is where we close off our time. Thank you very much for being a part of this webinar. I definitely want to encourage you that you keep a lookout. One, you follow Tim and the work that he's doing, connect with him. If you do wish to do some work, if you've realized maybe as you are counting your breaths, or maybe it's time to see someone, get someone to help me, then Tim is the individual to do that. That's the reason why we brought him in to start with, because he's the guy that does this on a consistent basis and he knows what he's doing. So definitely do trust that recommendation and go over and connect with him. Secondly, I would like to encourage you to keep a lookout for the replay. So you will have access to the replay, but also I'd like to encourage you to please share this webinar replay with as many people as you can think of who will really value this webinar and the information that's shared and the exercises we've just done, because the world is better off when we all know how to breathe. All right, Unlearners, thank you so much for your time, and we will see you on the next webinar. Bye for now.